felt like I was being too narrow. I'm a big one about this because I've been through this a lot of times. I've never really vlogged in the shop before. So, what we're going to talk about next? We are back, guys. Welcome back. Let me just get my seat adjusted for this. We're back on... Oh, well, first of all, let me sort my phone out. It's going everywhere. Right, that shouldn't disrupt anybody. Yeah, welcome back to the Ricky2ra podcast. Episode 44, sorry. Episode 44. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're keeping safe still. It's a much brighter morning here. I know people that watch this on YouTube, you'll see actually how bright it is. We're currently on 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, it's been snowing on and off here in the UK, so I don't know if that's got something to do with it, but we've got clear blue skies, partly cloudy. You know, I've got to put that weatherman Rick in there at the start, but yeah, I hope you guys have been okay. I would ask what you're up to, but from experience, asking people in the shop, we're all in the same boat still, well, here in the UK anyway. So yeah, I hope you guys are just keeping busy and doing what you're doing, really. I've basically just been in the shop as well and just working on a few videos here and there, so I'm actually quite happy that the podcast is back up and running, because it feels, I don't know if the days are just getting longer or it's a particular day, because I feel like the podcasts, it feels like forever now. Like the week, it feels like 2 weeks for some reason. But yeah, anyway, we're here, we're back, episode 44. I just want to, before I get into anything, and I don't really say this as much at the start, but I really appreciate you guys listening to this as well. This is just something that I do for fun, really, and it just seems to have evolved over time, even though it is the 44th episode. Each episode evolves over time, and maybe something different happens. So yeah, I do really appreciate all of you. I don't mean to say this at the start and be like, why is he saying this at the start? But I've looked on the data from my YouTube and stuff, and 70% of people are subscribed to my YouTube channel, which is kind of a bummer really, because I do put out this content, and if you want to subscribe, like, that's up to you. But if you like the content, you know, I would appreciate the subscribe. Because I've seen it, and before it used to be like 50-50 or like people that were subscribed, but now it's just gone all the way up to 70% of people that are not subscribed watch my content, and the 30% are obviously people that are subscribed. So it would really mean the world to me, you know, if you enjoy any part of this, if you just watch the beginning and click off and you're like, you know what, that beginning was quite good, you know, I appreciate the subscribe. It does help me as well. And it gives me some sort of guidance whether I'm doing anything right, or if, you know, because I'm going to still keep making content. And like I said, in anything, it's going to evolve over time anyway. So yeah, I would really appreciate that. That'd mean the world to me. But yeah, what are we doing today? I don't know why I'm looking at my light. We are talking about the 4 topics again, alright? And I'll tell you what, it's got a range to these topics today. They're all different in themselves. I know in the past I've done topics that maybe 2 or 3 were the same, or 2 were the same and the others were different. Each and every single topic is different today. So this is going to be an interesting one, really. So the first topic is practicing magic. The second topic is about Joe Rogan. Third topic is about WandaVision EP5. Yes, it's become a key thing now in the podcast. And the last one is my thoughts on vlogging. So yeah, if you guys like any of them topics, stick around, because we're going to be diving into each and every one of them. Oh, I've got to have a quick coffee. I've been trying this black coffee stuff now. I love it. So, practicing magic. So this is more of obviously a magician type of topic. And I have talked about it in the past as well. But yeah, it's basically what should you do when practicing magic? Because I remember when I first started out, I used to just practice anything like all night. So it'd take me like an hour, 2 hours maybe. I just try fit as much into my brain and into my learning style as possible. And over time, you feel kind of burnt out. So there'll be like days that you do like loads of practice, and then you'll just shut off for 2 days, because it's like, oh my god, I've done too much there. And it kind of depends on you and as a person. I know as the years go on, I've kind of been smarter about my practicing, and I've definitely scheduled it out as well. Like I'd do maybe 10 to 20 minutes in total in the day, or maybe sometimes I do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, 20 minutes in the evening, depending on what you're learning, because it ranges really for anybody. You've got to know yourself and what you can take, and how you adjust it from there. If you feel like, these are for magicians, this topic. So if you feel like you're practicing and you're burning out, maybe you're just practicing too much in that particular time. Maybe you should just do half of what you're doing in the morning and then do the rest in the evening. And maybe you might, balance it out there. Or if you can only do 10 minutes in a day because you've got a strict schedule, you've got kids, or you've got work that's covering all of your day, or if you've got something, even 10 minutes a day for 7 days is 70 minutes. So that's an hour and 10 minutes worth of practice a week. And if you add that up, it's going to add up, really. And if you think about that compared to somebody that's burning out, so they're doing 2 days on, 2 days off, over time you're beating that person in your time that you've put in. So it does make a difference, really, being smart about it as well. But like I said, you've got to know yourself. So for me, I like to schedule my things. So I like to do it morning and evening. It can depend on what time as well, because I've got the shop. So I'm usually in the shop in the morning and the evening. So I tend to do it like around, if I've got time in the morning, I tend to do it around 10, 11-ish. And then in the afternoon, if I don't do it in the morning, it'll be about 3-ish, or in the evening it'll be like 9 p.m. So it kind of ranges really when you can fit it in. But like I said, that depends on you as a magician, as a performer, as well. And you've got to figure out your time slot as well. For me, I like doing it in short bursts, but many times during the day as well. I've done that in the past. I'm kind of slacking at the moment for a little bit. I'm not afraid to say that. We all have our slumps here, so I'm kind of in that kind of getting out of the slump at the moment. So I've been doing less, but sometimes less is more. And I know people out there are thinking, what are you talking about, Rick? And I don't mean doing less practice as in, that you're not going to do anything. I mean like doing deliberate practice in less time. So you could be doing practice for about 20 minutes, but you're not really doing it properly. But if you just do it for 10 minutes and just focus on what you're doing properly, no distractions, anything, you could probably get more out of that 10 minutes than the 20 minutes that you got there. So that's what I mean, really, as well. But if I'm talking about in a performance type of way, so if you've got like a big event coming up, obviously I would say virtual event now, but after COVID, if you've got a big event, obviously do practice more before then as well, if it is very important. Like if you've got a stage show going on, you practice your script, your magic effects and everything like that as well. So yeah, that's basically my advice on that. And I do remember saying it in one episode as well. Can't remember which one, but I did mention something about like the scheduling in different parts of the day. For me, that works out brilliantly just because of what I've going on. Maybe if I didn't work in the shop, or if I was doing something else, maybe I would schedule it different, but it's totally up to you. You know yourself better than anybody else. So like when's the best time to practice. Whether that be like if you're working a 9 to 5 and, you come home, it takes an hour to get home, 6, you eat, 6, half 6, 7, then you know from like 7 to 8 you're going to just focus on practice. But that's totally, like I said, it's up to you. And yeah, obviously each thing you're practicing takes a different amount of time. So if you're just practicing a sleight of hand move, that's totally different to if you're practicing like a routine or like a certain effect. So if I'm practicing a sleight of hand move, I would do that first, but I'd find the reason why I want to use that. So if I was doing something like, I don't know, let's just make it easier, one-handed shuffle, where you put the cards in one hand and you shuffle them together like that. So, okay, that's cool, you're doing that, that's nice, but why? Why are you doing that? What's the purpose in the first place? So if you've got something in your routine where you get the, let's say you do a multiple card selection to a few spectators, you put them back into the pack, and then you go, now I'm going to shuffle the deck, and you do it. That's your reason. That's the basic like example that I'm giving you there. Obviously, this ranges for anything, but yeah. So you've got to do. There's no point in just learning the one-handed shuffle, and then it's like, yes, I've learned the one-handed shuffle, because there's no purpose for you to use it. Like if you ask your other magician's friends, oh, what you been learning? One-handed shuffle, and that's probably where you're going to use it, and that's it, really, because a spectator doesn't really say that, oh, let's see a one-handed shuffle. So you've got to have a purpose for it, really, as well. So yeah, the sleight of hand, obviously, it takes a different amount of time. I tend to try and do it for 20 days, whatever I'm practicing, and then I tend to perform it. Obviously, I record myself whilst I'm practicing, so that's very important as well. So record yourself for everything really that you do, that you can look back on, so you know where you're going right and wrong. And that's me again, I'm slacking on that. I used to do that all the time, but recently I've just been recording it and not looking back on it. So that's something that I've need to get out of the habit of, and get into the habit of watching back on. As well. But I've done loads, like I said in my 80+ video episodes, I've got loads of videos of me just practicing magic as well, which is quite fun to look at over time, to see where you've come from really, and what skill set you've come from. But yeah, everything ranges different times. So if you're learning a proper like full-on effect, let's say you're putting a coin in a can, yes, that does take more time to practice, because you need to get your angles right. If you're recording on camera, you need to get your presentation right. There's so many factors that go into what you're doing, really. And then obviously the most important thing is performing it. So you're practicing it. Let's say you practice it for 20 days, you've got it, you feel happy that it's performance ready, and then you go out and it doesn't go quite as to plan that you wanted to. I then would practice it for another 10 days and see where it goes wrong. If you do have somebody filming you whilst doing it, even better, because you can, look back and see where you went wrong, or, that you could improve on. Then kind of work on your mistakes and then perform it and then keep going. Because I feel like, and I do this all the time, and I'm sure as magicians we all do this, we practice something and we don't really perform it. So you might have spent tons of time in front of the mirror or your camera just practicing something, and you're very passionate about it, and then you don't end up performing it just because you're afraid of doing something new. And yeah, I'm a big one about this, because I've been through this a lot of times, and it doesn't really make you grow. And I watched Alex Pandrea video as well, YouTube video last week, and he basically said what I said just now, so maybe I'm just regurgitating what he's saying, but I think what he said was that you need to try new things in order to grow, and that's like anything in life. But for a certain effect that you want to perform, you need to break through that barrier, otherwise you won't grow. You'll just stay like this, or you'll end up declining as well. And that's what I've learned in the past. And when I've actually pulled off a new effect, it's such a relief. And the spectator never even knows, but it's such a big relief. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on practicing magic, really. I hope this helps if you are a magician out there, or you can apply this to anything if you do sports, anything really that you practice. I hope that some sort of adds value to you guys. So, what we're going to talk about next? Oh, love my coffee, man. Okay, so let's talk about Joe Rogan. Why have I put Joe Rogan on this? Okay, so I was watching, I need to know the name of the YouTubers, because I've been looking more into YouTube videos, and there's this guy that I'm subscribed to now, and he's called Noah Kagan. I hope I've said that right. He basically tells you how to improve your marketing and business and stuff. He gives you like real tips on how to do it. He gets an example of a person and uses their methods and stuff on how you can improve. And one of them was Joe Rogan. And I've been watching Joe Rogan for a while now. I wouldn't say a long time, but for a while. And I really like him. And I'll tell you why. I like the way he works. Because when I first started watching and listening to him, I was like, what does this guy actually do? Because if you look at other people like Michael Jordan, Cristiano Ronaldo, Tiger Woods, like them names that I just said, you know exactly what they do, sports, you know what I mean, like golf, football, basketball, you know what it is for them. When I look at Joe Rogan, I think, what is it? What is his thing? And I couldn't pinpoint it at first. But then I realised, I've seen this guy do UFC commentary, and I've seen him do his podcast, and that's basically where I know him from. So I'm like, oh, this guy's a podcaster. And then I watched Noah Kagan's video about him, and basically he just dissected Joe Rogan, how he makes his income from his, basically his passions, really, that he's doing. And I didn't realise how much he was actually doing as well. So I just want to talk a little bit about that, because maybe I think that's something that I'm trying to, start. I wouldn't say doing, I'd say start at this moment of time. Because for Joe Rogan, right, obviously you guys know, well, if you don't know him, he does a podcast. He also does UFC commentary as well. And then he's a comedian as well, which I knew, but I forget. So he's a comedian. He's got Netflix specials, and he's a partner in a fitness nutrition company, I'd say. I'm not sure if I got that right, like a nutrition, maybe, but he definitely is a partner in like the fitness company. So yeah, he basically has 4 things that he's doing. And obviously I'm not going to get into his income, how he makes the income out of them, but he's got many things within them that he makes his income from as well. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I just like how he's doing different things. And it's kind of like a blueprint, like many others. Like you see The Rock, you kind of know The Rock for wrestling, but he's done acting, he's got his tequila brand, he's doing this, he's doing that. He's got a sponsorship with Under Armour, I think. Yeah, and like Kevin Hart, he's a comedian, he's an actor, he has his own Heartbeat Productions company, he does this show, that so it's kind of like a blueprint, but it all started off from one thing, really. And I think Joe Rogan's was really, his one thing was just many passions, so it kind of just was like comedy. It was, what else was it? It was podcasting, it was the UFC commentary, you know, the fitness thing kind of came after. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm diving into. Like, I've been doing magic since 2011, but actually been performing at events since 2014. So you can kind of say 5 years I've been performing, because I didn't do anything in 2020, and hopefully this year it'll get better. But yeah, and magic's kind of the thing that I've stuck to. And I love magic, and I'm always going to do magic for the rest of my life. And I've got big things that I want to do for magic as well. But I felt like I was being too narrow, and I've said this in the past, but I kind of use Joe Rogan as like some sort of blueprint as well. Like I like to podcast. Like I didn't do the podcast because of Joe Rogan. I did the podcast because I wanted to do it, and it just so happens that I like it. And it's kind of like I want to dive into this thing. I'm doing YouTube. I'm doing vlogs. I'm doing this sweet review. So I'm kind of diving into different sections as well. So yeah, Joe Rogan's like a good blueprint really, and you got to admit you gotta love the guy, man. Like his podcasts are amazing, man. The amount of guests now that he gets on, like I haven't watched any of his earlier podcast stuff, but I can imagine he didn't get as many guests on, like high profile. I'm guessing, maybe I could be wrong, but now he gets people like Kanye West, Dave Chappelle, Elon Musk. So yeah, he's kind of like the biggest like podcaster out there. Yeah, so it all just started off from a passion really, and that's what I love. So it's a big blueprint, and if you are thinking about doing some stuff out there, like if you want to go in some sort of other directions as well, I'd definitely check out Noah Kagan's channel, and he breaks down Joe Rogan's like different passions and stuff as well. So yeah, it's that's a bit about Joe Rogan really, and I hope that adds value to anybody out there that, you know, wants to try other things as well and go in different directions. Joe Rogan's a great example of that. Okay, so here's the one that's going to take a little bit to talk about, but I'm glad you guys are still here, okay? So, we're talking about WandaVision episode 5. And if I haven't said it already, I love this show. Okay, like it's probably one of the best things I've watched in a while. Yeah, I've just got to have a sip of coffee before I tell you guys about this. Okay. Spoilers, because I'm about to just release a big spoiler right now from that episode. So spoilers, do not listen to this if you haven't watched episode 5 of WandaVision. Pietro's returned. Like, what the hell is going on? Is it Pietro? Basically, he's come back, right? But it's the X-Men version. When that doorbell rang, you do not know how many things was going in my head. Like, I was like, what the hell's going on? Okay, hold up. First of all, did Wanda ring the bell? But she said she didn't ring the bell. Who is behind the door? Is it Agatha or is it other people? Like, what's going on? And then it's going back to the headquarters, the Sword headquarters outside, and they're watching it like, what's going on? Who's this? And it turns out to be Quicksilver, but from X-Men, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? 2 shows are now collided. Well, it's a multiverse now, apparently. So yeah, I'm just like, wow. And then it just ended there. And I'm just like, oh, this show can't get any better. And I'm guessing episode 6 will be even better. But yeah, let's talk about a little bit about what happened. So it's in the 80s. I think it's 80s or 90s now. It was in the twins are growing during this episode. Is it Tommy and Billy? Wanda can't control her kids, meaning she can't use her magic. Well, I'm gonna say magic on them. So she was trying to like quieten the babies up when they were crying, but she tried it and they didn't. But then Agatha came in, and then have you realised as well? Like I've watched loads of YouTube videos on this. The kids only grow when Agatha's there, so bit strange. But yeah, Wanda can't control her kids. There's many questions that need to be answered, and this gets on my mind, and I'm sure everybody's in the same boat because I want to know what's going on, but they don't tell you. And I'm guessing when everything finishes, we'll have all the answers, and maybe a few unanswered ones. But what the hell is going on between Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau? Because when Jimmy Woo was saying Captain Marvel nearly beat Thanos, she was just like, yeah, let's not talk about her. And I'm just like, oh, what's the biff? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, is Agatha behind this? Like, is she a witch or something like that? I don't know. There's a Halloween episode that's about to come out, I think. this Friday, so we'll have to see then, because she was wearing some sort of witch costume. Maybe that kind of like depicts what she is. Yeah, there's so many things in this episode, and I just went manic. That's probably why I didn't post content on Friday, to be honest. I was so like into just watching WandaVision, so I need to post content on Friday really, as well. But yeah, it's brilliant. Like I'm just leaving this for all the YouTubers that do the job for this. Like I'm just telling you what I thought, and I'm regurgitating some things what they're saying. I'd definitely check it out. Like WandaVision. Like I know I spoiled it, but if you've gone through the spoilers and you just want to watch it, watch it. Because I feel like Wanda's getting a bit unstable now. She can't control as many things. Like from the start, she didn't have many factors in place that she couldn't control. But now there are so many factors, like Vision. Like, because if then she resets Vision, the kids will be confused. Well, the kids won't be confused because the kids know. Now, I think one of them's telepathic as well, so they'll know. But you can't control them, and things will just go out of place, really, very quickly. So I think she's getting stressed out, or she's not mentally stable anymore, or she's not really behind this. There's somebody else behind this. Could it be Agatha, or could it be somebody bigger? Like, apparently there's rumours about Mephisto, that Pietro's Mephisto, really. Because Wanda and Vision were about to have like a fight kind of thing before the doorbell rang. So maybe it could be there's so many unanswered questions, and I hope it kind of gets cleared up in the next episode, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the next episode, and there have been leaks out there as well, and I'm trying my best not to watch them, but I watched one leak. It was only like 15 seconds long, so it didn't really spoil as much as I thought it would. But yeah, I can't wait for the next episode of WandaVision. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts. I might make this a weekly thing. I might talk about episode 6 next week, because I enjoy actually talking about it as well. So yeah, stay tuned for episode 6 next week. And before we get out of here, podcast, I wanted to do this because I've been vlogging for a year now. I did my first vlog just about over a year ago now. We're on the 10th of February. I think I uploaded my first vlog on the 6th of February 2020, I think. But it's definitely been over a year. So yeah, I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to do a reaction, like a separate video to that. In my on my YouTube channel, because I haven't watched that video as well, so it's going to be nice to watch that and get a reaction out of myself from what I was doing a year ago, as well, and see how much I've progressed. But my thoughts on vlogging, since I've been doing it for just about over a year. I'm not an expert at this. I'm just telling you what I think. Just like last week, I was telling you what I think about YouTube and stuff like that in my first video. So yeah, it's not easy vlogging. You don't know what to talk about or film really, because in your mind you think you're boring, and I don't think my life's exciting at all. But I've been listening to Gary Vee quite a bit, and he was saying that other people might find you interesting. Like, just put out what you want to put out and they'll decide. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. So I didn't really add the shop as much into my first episodes of my vlogs, and then as the vlogs went on, I started using the shop more, really, as well, because it is a part of my life, really. So yeah, it's not about, well, it is about what you want to show, because if you don't want to show everything in your life, fair enough. You know, just show what you want to show, but don't be afraid of putting it out there. As well, because your life might be exciting, you know, to someone else. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to put this in like as simple as possible. Like, the Kardashians is a reality show, and your vlogs are kind of like your reality show. So yeah, it kind of works out from there really. What it is. Because I don't think my life's exciting as well. I just show basically me talking behind the counter in a shop, filling some shelves, and then come back into my room and say thank you, subscribe. So yeah, but always try your best if you want to go for vlogging. Really, if you feel like that's for you, always try your best. From that, I'm just going to turn my camera off and turn it back on so I know what I'm doing. Oh. Yeah, so always try your best on what you want to do. Film something. What have I wrote here? Film something you enjoy doing or talk about. So that's very important actually, as well. Something new for me was the shop, because I've never really vlogged in the shop before. So that was something new, or something to talk about. Like I've recently creating content. So I'll talk about that. So that's kind of my advice, really. Don't be afraid of what to put out there, and just film something you enjoy doing or talking about as well, because it will go far. The more you do it, the more you'll enjoy it and think of new things as they come. But yeah, I'm going to leave that there, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as well. And I really appreciate you guys for making it this far into the episode. So yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you like, rate, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yeah, so I'm going to head out now. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day or night, wherever you are. And I'll see you next week.